Hello there guys, welcome to my next day survival beginner guide and tips. This video is going to be a basic overview of the game and what it has to offer. I don't want to give too much away, so hopefully no spoilers. Then I'll end with a few beginner tips which I found really helpful when I first started the game. Please, if you enjoyed the video, then drop us a like, and if you'd like to see more content from me, then hit that subscribe button. Now, if you're anything like me, then you enjoy a good survival game, and recently you might have come across this game in the Steam sale for 89p. Now, I mean 89p for any game is dirt cheap, but I have to say I wasn't quite expecting so much game for my money. Now, if you're looking for that groundbreaking AAA title, then you might be in the wrong place. However, if you're looking for something a little more laid back with a bit more slower approach, and I do mean slower approach, but something with a few new ideas and its own unique charm, then this could be the gem you've been looking for. Now, I know it was released in 2017, and it definitely feels like a 5-year-old game, but for its time, it has a really great idea with a good mixture of all the different features from the genre that we know and love. Now, for me, the game has been a little bit more of a kickback. I have recently been playing a few more stressful games like Tarkov, so this game for me was quite nice. It was quite refreshing. Now, in the beginning of the game, it can be really difficult. You will die a lot, and I do mean a lot, but you do get over it most of the time. I tell you, these bloody bears will drive you insane. The game will throw you in here, and this is the safe zone, and it won't give you any clue on what it is that you actually have to do. However, there will be characters in the zone that will offer you missions, and there's the characters with arrows above their head. That soldier I probably wouldn't do until I'm a slightly higher level. But the first person you actually want to speak to would be Stas, which is this doctor over here. He's the first mission you're going to get. So you just go over to him, have a little chat. He asks you to get a couple of sticks off a bush. So you can just go over here, grab these sticks like I'm doing now. Then obviously go back to Stas, hand in your sticks, and then that is the first mission complete. And then obviously from that point onwards, you will get given other, different missions from different people, and that will move you through the story. And hopefully it will take you through the different factions. If you die in the game, not only do you lose everything that you're carrying on your person, but you do also lose the quest even. You also lose the quest as well. So you will actually have to go back and re-accept the quest. Now, for some reason, when you respawn in, the quest isn't immediately available. I don't know why. So I mean, for me, I just spend that time going looting, exploring, until that quest does become available, that I can re-accept it and try and do the quest again. Now, the game does offer you quite a lot. As I say, I wasn't expecting this much for 89p. Within the game, you have two main factions, the civilian factions and the looter factions, and then you've got the neutral faction. Now, the neutral settlement, which you see here, is the safe zone, which is where you are. Then over on the northwest, you've got the civilian settlement. And then if you look down south, you've got the two looter settlements. I have no idea why the looters have two settlements. Everybody, you can use the safe zone, including the looters. However, the civilians only get one settlement, so not too sure why. Now, in the game, you will actually start off as part of the neutral faction, and then as you do the quests, the missions, you will join the other factions through those. So each mission, pretty straightforward. It's a go here, go there, kill them, grab this, the same kind of missions that you get from most of these games. But you can see that they do have some fairly decent rewards, and as you go through the missions, you will meet different characters who will give you different missions, but ultimately it's people within the settlements. Now, each settlement has a trader. This is really handy. I pretty much sell everything to the trader I don't need. Money in this game is really handy, obviously, for ammo and meds. And then the trader also couples as a storage or stash, if you will. This is individual to each settlement, and it works great. So make use of it. You've got quite a lot of space to fill. Just be aware that obviously you can't transfer it without taking it out of the storage and moving it to the other settlements. Now, the beginning of the game, you will die a lot, as I said before, and I mean, just about everything in this game wants to kill you. And even at peak times, it can be a real challenge just leaving the safe zone. Sometimes high level players, they just want to kill anyone. Doesn't matter whether you're running around in gear or in your pants and vest, they literally don't care. However, there are some players who are in this game who generally want to help you. The first time I played the game, I actually asked this guy if he was English. He didn't actually say anything to me, but he dropped his gun and ammo on the floor, and that obviously was a big help. And then later, as I was playing through the game, I met up with him again. He gave me more ammo, gave me some food. We teamed up together and we did a few missions. So yeah, there's plenty of fun to be had with other players in the game. However, they are a big threat, but they aren't the only threat in this game. You do also have NPCs like these guys here. You've got looters, you've got civilians, you've got traitors, and you do have military. There's also the wildlife in this game. Just about every bit of it wants to kill you. And then there's toxic gas, just like this, and these spawn in different places on the map, but it's pretty toxic. It'll kill you even wearing a gas mask. And then of course you've got your typical bleeding to death, just like this outside the hospital. Now, just like any good survival game, be prepared for a lot of running. Now obviously the graphics aren't the most amazing graphics you've ever seen, but it sometimes does have decent moments. And now, as well as everything we've said before, you've got things like this, like the airdrops that are just in front of me. You've got a skill tree, quite basic, but effectively the more you do the skill, the higher it goes up. And then you do also have a basic crafting system. That's just some basic simple recipes. You won't use it particularly a lot. I've only really used it for the campfire and the bandages, but nonetheless there is crafting in the game if you want it. Oh yeah, and there's tanks. Alright, so that's the overview done with. So let's get into my beginner tips. Okay, so tip number 1 is become a hoarder, and this is just make good use of your storage, your stash. Especially early on, I've seen plenty of people, they get their gear that they got for the mission, they run out the safe zone, they get absolutely obliterated by a high level player, and then lose everything that they just gained from that mission. For me personally, I just put everything in my storage, went out in my pants and a backpack, looted everything I could find, and then I didn't feel as bad when I died. You do tend to find as well actually that you will find players won't shoot you as much if you are running around as a vest and pants guy rather than someone who's running around with a gun in their hand. So it could be very handy. Obviously once you level up, use the gear. Tip number 2, always loot the safe zones. So whenever you respawn, whenever you die and you respawn in, or whenever you load in and you saved in the safe zone or the settlements, run around and loot. You never know what you might find. There's always something, either some ammo, some meds, some food, and even stuff that, you know, might not be worth anything to you at that point in time, but actually can be worth something. So here I picked this balaclava up, and let's see, 258 it's worth, so that's pretty decent. That's like a bandage or some food. Which takes me on to tip number 3, which is sell, sell, sell. So just sell everything in this game that you don't need. You know, when you do need it, you'll eventually find it. It's not hard to know where to find things once you've found things. So early on it's good to have money in this game. So I would just say sell everything you can and only keep your guns, your ammo, your armor, food and meds. So tip number 4 is water pumps. Now in every settlement, safe zone, and also in the towns and villages there are water pumps. So if you do find yourself literally dying of thirst, which can happen from running around, get yourself to a settlement. Tip number 5 is beehives. Now these are in most of the settlements, but they aren't in the safe zone. They're in some of the villages and a farm. Literally 2 or 3 of these you can loot twice, and then they're worth a really good money. So if you go to the trader, you can then sell them for 122 a piece. So you know, you're talking 500, 600 every time you loot them. Tip number 6, always remember to reload. I mean, it's, you know, pretty basic tip, but especially in this game, just always remember to reload, as it definitely can save your life. Tip number 7 is always being covered to your left. So you hold your gun in your right hand and you naturally aim over your right shoulder. So obviously if you keep your left side covered, then you'll always have your peeker's advantage. Now, sometimes it can get harder. Obviously, the military guys, these guys are harder to kill. I mean, not this guy, but they do come with better gear, and obviously they've got armor, better guns. So it can be dangerous if you get swamped by a few of them. But as you're still there, obviously I used my peeker's advantage, took him out quite easy. Here I actually pulled myself out to lay the shots, but he landed some heavy shots. Put myself back into cover. No idea why he decides to make this run here. So this just gives me peeker's advantage again, and bang. Now you can swap shoulders as well. As you can hear, someone's coming, so quickly aim, press Alt. Now obviously I hit the wall and I have to pull myself out of cover completely to use that, so it's not as good. And then tip number 8, enjoy yourself. The game is what it is. Just don't take it too seriously. Just try not to get annoyed too much when you die. You know, as I've already alluded to, death is inevitable in this game. But it does become slightly easier. You know, you do start to actually feel like you're getting a swing for the game. And obviously if you listen to all these tips that I've given you, then it should give you a good start up. To at least get you to, you know, complete the first couple of missions, and obviously, you know, get you to that next settlement, the civilian settlement. And, you know, ultimately, it does become easier, you know. Look here, I get a lovely little kill on this bear. Don't know why it didn't act to me in the first place, but either way, for taking full advantage of that, it just bopped him on the head. And then I get a little lovely one tap on a wolf right here. Oosh. Now I feel like really I have just basically scratched the surface of what this game has available to it. There really is so much more that the game offers. I'm not going to dive into it all because obviously I quite like to leave some for you to discover for yourselves. Now I do believe that the devs are still working on the game. I mean, there has been a recent update. It was updated literally the 2nd of January 2022. So they are still there. I'm not sure obviously if they're adding any new features. I know the game has changed slightly since when it was first released. And obviously the update recently was some bug fixes because they've moved over to different system, I believe. Now obviously if I had any kind of ideas for improvements, obviously if the devs are listening, a couple of improvements would be maybe if you could just make the sprinting slightly quicker. I mean, it just feels like a light jog and never really gets that much quicker. You know, you could have the walk just as a basic jog because you don't really need to walk in the game, and then have sprint as actually something which is slightly faster. I know the map isn't huge, so it's not huge amounts of terrain that you have to travel across, but something a little bit faster would be, you know, something I'd definitely agree we need. Then my second one would be for the auto run, just have a feature where you just double tap shift and then you auto run. I don't see why we need to hold the button to auto run. It should just be double tap shift and then, you know, auto run, and we're free to look in the inventory, look in the map, do what we need to do. And then my third one, and again these are only small improvements really, but it would just be if I could just map buttons to my mouse buttons. So sorry, map keys to my mouse buttons. I think that would be a really good improvement as well, especially given that most people tend to use the same button layout for every game, and obviously if you use mouse buttons then you can't obviously do that with this game. That is the end of the video. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or you want to join up in the world of Next Day Survival, then please hit me up with a comment below, and I'll leave you with a little bit of gameplay from the other day. I was going to go for an airdrop and bumped into some players. Other than that, thanks for watching. Peace out. You alright?
Челик, у тебя аптека есть? Мне похилиться. Чел.
Hey man,
Пошли,
hey.
нашего бьют.
Whoa. Nice shooting, man. Nice shooting.